Yo, what up guys, it's Flark. And I have another edition of the Coach Flarkness series coming back after a pretty long hiatus. We're diving right back into it. I've had a lot of stream stuff to do, tournaments, guides, my own personal CR push, so it's been out for a while, but definitely taking content for that again. If you have any 2s, 3s, or RBGs, any PvP at all that you'd like me to review, I will go over it here. And we'll talk about the positives and the negatives, what went really well, what could have been better, anything that I can personally see. Maybe we'll all learn something from these. And tends to be pretty fun. And you guys have been wondering where it's been. So that's actually pretty cool for me. I didn't expect that. So definitely going to make more of those. I have 2 coming out soon. And then we're going to just take up as much content as we can get and keep trucking them maybe once a week again. So, without further ado, here we go. This is going to be Frosty K, Demon Hunter, Mistweaver 3s. Obviously, I'll be reviewing from the Frosty K's point of view. This is a comp very similar to the one that I run, so I should have a lot to say about it. It's about 22 to 2400 MMR. I saw 1 or 2 of the games on stream. I don't know if they're going to be in this chain that I'm about to watch here, but they're pretty much going to be brand new to me. And we'll just see how I would react in these situations and anything that I can see at the moment. Hindsight is always 20/20, and it'll be easier for me when I can pause the videos, but I'm going to try and react to it as real time as I possibly can and kind of get a feel for it. So here we go. Looks like they are setting up Heartstop Zone Delirium, and they are running Spite. So Heartstop Delir kind of works on Survival Hunter, keeping him peeled, but with DH, I think Necrotic Core is probably just a better pick with all the magic damage that DH and Frosty K bring. But because they're trying to probably kill in Spites, it would make sense that just play as defensively as possible. Zone would also be a pick for that, as well as Lichborn, which actually would be really powerful against this because it's Rogue. It's a Thug Cleave, as you can see right over here. Hunter, Rogue, Disc. So lots of stuns, lots of roots, lots of fears. So Lichborn immunes all of those things and makes it a really powerful counter pick here. So over Delirium, I would run Lichborn, maybe your Zone. If you were trying to get a little more pressure, I'd run Necrotic Aura. Delirium is a little hard of a sell against Thug, but we'll see how it works out. Ending up going Conflict, which means they'll swap out the Zone for Chillstreak. Same thing applies. So here he starts with Chains on both. On that Frost Fever application here, also applying that Delirium. So it looks like they're moving right in toward the Priest. But it's really good that you change the DPS as you move to the Priest. You can't just run at a healer and let your healer be tunneled the entire time for free. So having a 70% slow, undispellable at a range is a really good tool to be on something that you're not actively peeling these guys. You're on something else, but you're still peeling them by throwing slows out. So probably a good play. Let's see how they go here. They're going to do Spike Goes on the Priest. So here's an interesting one. We've done Coach Flarkness series, and it's been rudimentary gameplay. Now we're going to see some setups, some synergy with your team. Right now we had a double blind go out, and we had the triple spite come down. Looks like we might have all 3 here, it looks like. So that was a very quick application of that. You got the spite starting to stack up in the blind, then they're going to get the Fell Eruption out. I'm not sure if it broke a little prematurely there. We might be able to go back and watch. Let's take a look at this opener again. Chains, set up on the Priest. Demon Hunter gets over there. Blind both Priest and Rogue. Spites are down. Does not look like it broke early. That was really, really good. Then the Fell Eruption comes. Looks like he trinkets it into a full imprison. Then the stun out of that. So you can see, here are the Spites on the ground, right? And that was just an enormous amount of CC on the Priest, who is going to be stuck in it the entire time. They got the double. He still has grip, I think, available. He does. So he could even grip the Priest back in. This should be a full Spite setup. Master's Call does grip at the end of the Master's Call. Really great play. Obviously should have been back just a tiny bit farther to set up for that ring a little better. If this ring would have gone in, that would have been the end of the game. You can see him at 16 stacks. That would have been at least 20. And a Priest getting trained by DH Frosty K. But really good play there. Just a little unfortunate on the ring. Probably the timing of the ring and just a little bit of the placement of the grip. But I see exactly what they're going for. And you don't have a lot of time to react to Master's Call. That's kind of nitpicky. I think this is a really good open from them. I'm pretty sure they got... Is that a human? It's hard to tell all the things that are going on. You can't really see what's going on with the Priest right now. He's in a Rapture. No, it's not. So no trinket out of the Priest. Feral Eruption just cut a little short, it looked like. But they'll just be able to do that every time since he's running Relentless. So that's going to be a lot of setups on this Priest. You can see right now they're just cleaving all three, doing damage to the Priest who's spited. And so far they're all really, really good on their CDs. You can also see they used a few defensives offensively there. Looks like AMS is down. You can see right down here is his AMS. There's his IBF. He'll still have that IBF. This is where Lichborn comes in handy to stay aggressive through any stuns. But so far, just an interesting setup, right? We're not really talking much about the CD management offensively that he used, the Chillstreak goes or anything, because right there is just trying everything to get that spike go. And if they get the full spike go, they're going to probably Chillstreak in that, and it's just going to destroy them. So let's see how they play this out the rest of the way. But you can see right here, chains here, chains here. The DPS are getting slowed. They could not swap easily to the Mistweaver if they wanted to, which they do because it's Thug Cleave. And with a Priest, so they have Dark Arc on the Thug damage. Really good situational play from the Frosty Karana. So they're going to keep everybody stacked here with that Chains of Ice. Throwing Chains on the Pet. There's a stun on the Rogue. So right now they're just playing as defensively as possible while they wait for Spike Go. So you notice, Pillar, Remorseless, Chillstreak, these things are not going to be as important outside of those huge spike goes. So you're going to see those things maybe come off CD. I think that's fine since it's very reliable to get them on Priest. I see what their win condition is, and they're just going to stall out until they get there. So everybody on their team, full health. And everybody on this team is slowed. So they're just going to stall it out. And that's what you do in between goes. You stall it out. I'm setting up that pillar on the Hunter here. May have gone for grip here. It's darkness as well. So it looks like the Thug is getting a little bit of counter pressure. Not exactly sure where it came from. Looks like maybe a blind into a lockout here on the Mistweaver Monk. And there's a good preemptive darkness for the DH there. There's really nothing the Frosty K could do in that situation. Your personal AoE utility, or team utility rather, is Zone. And we didn't choose Zone for this, nor would it be that impactful against this comp, though Survival Hunter and Rogue do have a lot of magical damage. So really right now it's up to him to kind of let his teammates live and keep healing as best he can. They do really want to set up that go, obviously, right when Spike comes back up. Because the longer they wait, the more chances this TSU has to, Thug has to kill them. So you can see, here's the Spite in the bottom right corner. It is up, and it looks like they're just waiting for the go right now. Honestly, I don't think they have to get it on two people. I think they could just do it on the Priest. So I think anytime Spite's up, they should just be blinding and immediately starting up that go on the Priest. Really, somebody's going to come to them because the melee are on the Demon Hunter. So I think it's good to be very, very active on that. Looks like he's definitely going in for it now. Probably waiting for his teammate. There's the blind. There's the triple spite. I think. We might have only gotten 2 spites down there. I'm not sure. Did you guys see a third pop in here, boys? Let's take a look. He gets the blind. 1, 2, 2. Okay. So this one's going to be a scuffed go. So does he trinket? Oh, it is a human. Okay. Okay, so yeah, he trinkets right there, and now they have his trinket. So their next spike go is going to be really good. So once again, they're going to try and stall, play defensive. This guy's in a lot of trouble. Grip maybe the Rogue off of him, or Hunter off of him. Anything you can do to just play very, very defensive, and maybe try and get as much pressure up as you can by rotating through Pillar. Is that Blood of the Enemy Chillstreak, that is going to evaporate somebody in the next spike go. So they're really just trying to live right now. Here comes the chains on the Rogue. Grip is not available, obviously. Or actually, it is. So probably grip back No, it's not. Half mana. You can tell if it was the global or the actual CD. So here comes the peel section, right? Because you're waiting on this spike cooldown, so it's halfway up. So they're just going to chains, grip when it is up, and just keep their Demon Hunter Dragon's Kings alive. Now, it looks like that's doing just fine. Now they're trying to get some counter pressure by going Priest. I think that's really good. See if they get CDs out of goes, then what are they going to do when the spikes come down, right? The Priest is just going to get massacred. So good idea for them to just keep getting pressure here, and also makes the rogue play a little more defensive if these guys are getting cleaved to death by all of the AoE cleave that DH and Frosty K bring to the table. That should help keep them off balance so they don't just kill the Demon Hunter in between goes. And right now that was a full kidney, but it's already halfway over, and it looks like the DH is totally fine. Look at the rogue having to retreat because of all that pressure. That's a great job on them setting up damage. Oh, is this actually a kill? I can't tell. Great job on them setting up damage. Now the off CC on the Priest. They're recognizing this. They're going all in the rogue. This might be an unpaused kill. Yes. Okay. So there you go. So honestly, they didn't end up killing him with Spite, though they did get his trinket with Spite because of how fearful it is to sit in a Spite the entire time. And then they got so much damage out, cleaving them with the Chillstreak Blood of the enemy, that they just stunned the Priest, who has no trinket now, and finished the rogue. So just really good pressure the whole game, using that Spite to make the other team panic and throw out CDs. The Spike goes maybe slightly, could have been a little stronger, but they definitely accomplished their goal. And once they get the perfect Spike go in the beginning, they might just immediately win the game. But that was pretty resounding victory, right? So with the certain things we talk about, CD management, offensive pressure, synergy with your teammates, it's all good. AMS was used to stay aggressive. They're not going the DK, and you could realize that pretty early when they were just bouncing around the DH. So using those defensives to stay aggressive is good. Like I said, what are you going to press? You don't have the heals for the Demon Hunter, and you don't have zone, right? So all you can do is keep pressure up, keep chains up, keep CC up, grip them away, and do goes quickly. So using AMS and then IBF if you needed it, though they never really did, to stay aggressive is really, really impactful here, since you don't have a heal for him. You don't have an off heal. You don't have a chain CC. You don't have a spammable CC. So really good to just use as much pressure as you can, and netted them the kill in that case. So just good synergy there. Let's try and find the next game. There it is. So now we have Destro, HPAL, Unholy DK. And not a particularly powerful comp, but anything can be run up to 24, 25, just with good synergy. So assuming this team has pretty good synergy. So there's the chains, starting out on that DK. Now chains coming over to the lock, getting that Frost Fever on both. That's just a good standard opener. Now you should probably lay down Pillar and just start setting up on this lock so they can do a counter go by gripping the HPAL in and blinding him. That's what I would do. Gripping instead the lock to the middle. It looks like they're gripping him away from the gate and maybe trying to spite him. Okay, so yeah, was there a gate back there? Yeah, so it looks like there is a gate somewhere. Maybe in that back corner. So it looks like they're trying to grip away from the gate and get a spite down. Unfortunately, that's not going to work because he can just freedom the spite go if he's not gripped in himself. And if you purge it but he's out, then the grip is really important there. I guess we'll see how this plays out. I'm not really sure what the intention was, but they'll probably just wait on grip again. There's a zone down. Looks like that is before Dark Soul, so it's on Infernal. You've got a lot of cooldowns right here. This looks like his Omnibar with a lot of different CDs. I generally don't play with this many CDs, but the more information, the better if you go that way. Otherwise, pretty standard setup. But you can see when things are coming out. The full Hodge on the healer, maybe. Wings is down. There's the Infernal double coil. And we just zoned here. Or is that theirs? Oh, okay. Interesting. So you could see why I would be confused, as that is the most ridiculously poor zone from the enemy DK. But it's not a coaching video on him. But you could see where I'd be confused, right? He's in Wings with coil down, Infernal's out. And they're all at 100% health. So Fake Might have been a misplay, buddy. You can hit me up, and I'll do a Coach Flarkness video on you next. Not sure what that's all about, but here we go. There's the Dark Soul, so now we should see the friendly zone coming down, and there it is. Just looking all over the place to find where he keeps his CDs. It looks like instead they'll do a grip blind counter Spiko, which is pretty genius, honestly. Perfect timing for it. So you saw he gripped the H-Pal, blinds them both, and now they're going to immediately start spiting. Hopefully the other two will be able to get this off, because that will just counter their go, force them to pop some things. If you can get the double Chaos Nova here, that is going to counter that Dark Soul. And here comes 3 and the Nova. He's able to get out of it, and he has no grip, but the H-Pal is looking okay. Alright, so that was a good counter go. Looks like they got trinkets out of the H-Pal and the Destro. That's huge, and now he's still going to be able to zone the rest of that Dark Soul. So, honestly, that's a kind of a good series of really smart decisions, right? The grip blind counter go with triple spite stops a lot of the Dark Soul, gets all the frickin' trinkets here, and then immediately zones the Dark Soul at the end of it, so it still matches up with Dark Soul's cooldown, and they don't get any counter pressure back the other way. So they get what they needed, the trinkets, and they stop what they needed to stop the Dark Soul. I mean, you couldn't draw it up too much better than that. That was like, this is a good one, right? This is a good, if you're scared of Destro locks, that's a really good answer for everything they do. And believe me, I'm scared of Destro locks too, so good play. Now it's pretty good, obviously, to rotate your kicks. Looks like he gets a bolt off there at Dark Soul, but the counterplay was so good they should be totally fine. Now they'll just want to rotate kicks and try and set up goes. They lived the dangerous part. And we know that Fake doesn't have zone because he threw it in the garbage bin, so pretty good. Gets juked on that Chaos Bolt. Totally fine, it happens. Now he's reapplying his dot. Really low health lock. They're going to want to set up a go here. I think Grip Chillstreak is up, so there's the fear, and the DH kills him with Addressed. So, honestly, that's a crazy way to end it. I did not expect that. That's how you can see that this is genuine reactions, because I haven't watched these before. I did not think that that's how the game was going to end at all. But they really punished the other team's very poor play, and that's kind of what you want to see on these videos. It's good. Sometimes in BFA, obviously, we've known some teams to make some mistakes, and they're rewarded regardless because their classes are very powerful. But the lock nerfs and the fact that Destro DK is not all that synergistic in the very, very bad zone, all of those things, plus all the mistakes that the enemy team made with overlaps and triple trinketing and not being in the right place at the right time, it looks like they just punished him. Maybe the H-Pal got caught out of position, and the synergy was great. That counter go was really cool. So, not where I expected the game to end. I thought we were going to talk about how they set up after they get all the trinkets and get a perfect grip line chill streak and maybe kill like that. But the enemy team played very poorly. So take the wins as you get them. Alright, so far, really good cues out of these guys. Not a lot of negative to say. We'll see if they all go this well. Looks like we got an RMP. Let's take a look at the talents. Let's take a look at the talents for sure. Should be Heartstop Delirium Zone. Maybe I have to go back a little bit farther. Here we go. Heartstop Delirium Zone Blind. So this is good. This is about, like I said, 2300, 2400 MMR. So the players have gotten the builds, the playstyle, the gearing, and the rotation pretty well down. So now we're going to see, all right, well, can we just look at what they're doing really well and show you guys how to do it? Or are there going to be still some backbreaker mistakes? But so far it's been extremely well. That was an immediate talents loadout from me when I see something like this, and just to see it on this screen in front of me is that's very good. That's very good. So now what we want to do is immediately get combat in the mage. You don't want to give them a chance to counter spite, so you gotta get combat on the mage. Doesn't get it. That's not his fault. Now it's all up to the Demon Hunter. Sometimes the mage kind of gives you a Howling Blast right here. Obviously, this is a huge map. Doesn't get it, but now it's all the Demon Hunter. So if the Demon Hunter gets combat here, and he does, now it's up to Chillstreaks, and he just gets the hit right there. So Chillstreaks, the name of this DK. So that is huge. Now they get combat. It stops the first Spiko, and they're able to set up for free. Now they can do a Spiko of their own. That is a really good swing right there. And the Rogue's out, and the Rogue has a disease on him. So right now they're just really disrupting that go. So let's see what we see here in the beginning. The rogue and the mage panicked, obviously, because they're pulled out, so they have to immediately go. They do the cheap and overlap it with a polymorph. This is not worth a trinket, but we'll see what is committed. So if he combusts and goes all in on the Demon Hunter right now, it's definitely trinket zone. There's a ring down on their healer. Very small off in the corner, but you can see that ring going down. Jiski is the one getting kidneyed into... That's the healer. Getting kidneyed into ring. But it looks like it's kicked there, so completely disrupting this go. The DH gets away from it. There's combustion. Zones it awkwardly. Looks like the Demon Hunter is going to run back in there. So it was really, really poorly played from the Rogue Mage Priest. That was a little bit of an awkward zone, but ends up being totally fine and was barely a problem anyway. But zone on the combust, great play. Pre-bubbles it as well, that's a little bit of an overlap. Zone is more than enough there, so unfortunate, but again, as long as they stop any... Yeah, so now they're going to really want to go hard on this mage. Okay, so what's happened so far? They disrupted the mage's opener. The rogue mage had to panic to try and get an open off really quick regardless. It did not happen. They did not get a good set of CDs. The zone came down on the combust, which was good. The bubble was committed, which it did not need to be. So both teams are kind of reeling. The mage RMP is reeling because they don't have a go for a while. They don't have combust for a long time. But the DH Mistweaver DK is reeling because they just kind of overlap some CDs. So now all they have is the DH's CDs, and if the DH is stunned, then he can't press his CDs. So that overlap was a little bit problematic, but this is their time to apply enormous pressure, do fast goes, get huge pressure, because they can get back to that cooldown of Life Cocoon as long as they pressure the other team while they don't have combust. So it's all in on the mage here. I would stay very, very aggressive. I would pre-AMS CC. Right now they're charmed. They're just peeling. So right now the mage and the rogue are going to try and peel best they can. And this is time to do a grip go right here. I mean, grip is off. Grip that mind control, blind them, and let's go. Not in time there. Does he have blind available? Yes. So, yeah. Just, there's the pre-dark on that. So, honestly, that kind of validated what I was just about to say. I said that grip needed to come there, right? It interrupts the mind control, gets you not in this terrible position, rooted away from your player, and immediately stops their setup because you grip, triple blind, and Nova on that. Or even if you don't Nova, you're just gripping and triple blinding, which you can just chill streak and they'll both be stuck in it, so they have to move out. And it stops that mind control that took you out of the game. So that missed grip there does unfortunately get darkness. So you need to get that grip out. I think you were off global for long enough to do it. You should just be spamming it coming out of that mind control. You know you have it, you know you're on the mage, just grip blind, and it completely stops this go and saves darkness. So that's darkness on the blind go. Had an answer for it. Now they're really going to need pressure, so now they have no darkness, no zone, and no bubble. Still winnable because DHDK does so well into RMP, and as long as you live, even if it's sketchy how you lived, you can just destroy the priest mana once you start getting goes, but they need to get one now. You can see that double heart stop always on this guy. That is good. It's going to keep that mage locked down. Once they run out of blinks and goes, then he's just going to have to sit there and face tank damage, and mages don't like doing that. So there's a grip blind. Right. So that's looking a little sketchy. They're going to make something out of it, though. They get block. Terrible play from this mage. Horrible play from this mage. Yeah, this is very lucky for them. They're going to be able to capitalize now on this disgusting misplay from this team. So now the misplays are piling up the other way, and they're going to be able to capitalize, right? So unfortunately, they had to grip blind the rogue mage together, which is good. It's a good answer. Obviously, they want to do it on the priest. Being able to swap to priest, too, gives them a limited pressure, and the priest does not have Cloak of Shadows or evasion or sprint. So it's really, really much better to do double spike goes on the priest and the mage rather than the rogue and the mage. But they were clearly frustrated. They needed to peel. They were running out of CDs. They wanted to set something up defensively. I can see it. I'm not stupid. I know what they were trying to do. And luckily for them, they were rewarded. This mage pre-tempted all this damage and immediately got out of the spites, and the second 2 spites were probably just a little late. So this was not a big spite go, and he was out of it. You can see he is blocked out of this spite, and he had pre-tempt the entire go, and he still had caught available. So this mage just threw block into the gutter and has no trinket. So he has absolutely nothing, and what got that was nothing. He just got all of his CD popped from literally nothing. This was their first go. It wasn't even that pristine, and they hadn't done any pressure before this, and somehow the guy doesn't have trinket or block. So, sorry, Joey XC, don't mean to put you on blast like that, but you might have just lost the game for your team. It happens. Careful with your block. So there's a little spite on the block there. It's not going to do anything, obviously, but they're probably thrilled. They get everything they need. They get cloak for no reason. I mean, these guys are just throwing out defensives on nothing. No chill streak pressed. Not really that powerful a spite go. And these guys are just throwing CDs out like they don't even matter. So this is going to be a good time to punish this team. Glue yourself to the mage. Try and get one more go. And just try and play defensive when they're trying to set up theirs. So dispelling that poly. Trying to keep that rogue in combat. Probably a Howling Blast over a Chains first there, just to make sure he has the repull out of stealth. There's a charm. They're trying to 3v1 the DH with the G-Pie here. Right now it's just time to get as much pressure on the mage as possible. Keep using that AMS aggressively. I would say they're not going to go DK here. Absolutely not going to go DK here. They've kind of already given their hand. I don't think these guys are going to change it. Using AMS to keep yourself out of stuff is probably safe here. There's the grip on G-Pie, or maybe Poly. Something stopped the G-Pie. Now he's going for a double ring here. This mage is just reeling. Just keep the pressure up. Try and get pillar up as soon as possible. With that ice cap, the second it's up, I would use it. Just keep getting that pressure. Dragon's King's in a lot of trouble here. So now you can see, looks like that ring was a backbreaker. Dragon's King's almost dead here. Would be a shame if they lost this game because the mage is playing this so poorly. But if he comes out of that CC and bubbles him, he should be okay. Unreal. So you guys, sorry, I just stared at Dragon's King's health bar. I wonder if any of you back home did the same. Let's take a walk. Let's take a real quick run back of that, that dynamic. So. Unfortunately, not a lot good to say about this situation. I would have just, hold on. I would have just pre-AMS'd earlier and stopped that ring that put them so far behind. So he gets the poly here. I would immediately AMS that one. So you get AMS'd and charmed, or poly to end charmed. That is the clearest AMS of my life. They're setting up right now. You have no zone, no darkness. And any CC on the Mistweaver means, obviously, no bubble. So all you're trying to do is stop the CC. So the one CD that you guys have, bubble, is available. So that is another obvious AMS there. You can't sit that CC. You got Mind Control and Poly coming in for you and no stops were on it. So that's a good time to AMS and keep your DH alive. Luckily, they were not able to kill here because you'll see the chain of events now as you're MC'd. A G-Pie goes off. Then I guess we grip the Poly, which is a great play, and then the ring goes off. So let's take a look at our Mind Freeze. Where was the Mind Freeze pressed? Let's find this thing in our bars. There it is. Okay. So it looks like a case of the unfortunate missed AMS on the CC and then missed kick, or just lack of kick. So that, wow, wildly lucky. The G-Pie going off in the full ring onto their healer, and no punish from the Rogue Mage. That was good. I think they're gonna win this game then. There's a dress coming out onto the Rogue. He immediately dips out of it. Ring comes down. Did he run into the ring? Oh, he reversed the ring. So the DH actually bailing them out of this. Let's take a look. Did the healer run into the ring? Maybe I'm giving the Frosty K a little bit too much slack here. Let's try and get this. This is a very interesting set of events, right? It's very hard to tell who's in the right, who's in the wrong, what the mistakes actually are. So obviously that G-Pie goes off because you don't have an answer besides grip, which you gripped on the blink, which is totally fine. You get a lot of pressure out of it, and it grips the poly. Then right here, doesn't kick the ring. Is he immediately CC'd? Mind controls him into the ring. Mind controls him into the ring. Okay. Wow. So that is a sequence, guys. All right. So let's try and unpack that then. I've tried a couple times to unpack that. This is a very interesting game. So the AMS on the mind control and poly overlap still feels like the play to me. Did not have kick for the G-Pi. Then gets kicked back up. Could have gripped the G-Pi maybe, and then kicked the ring. What ends up happening is the Mistweaver on their team gets mind controlled into the Ring of Frost. So just a really unfortunate chain of events. And then the DH gets destroyed. So the DH Fell rushes over, reverses the Ring of Frost, and then the Mistweaver bubbles him. I think we finally figured that out. So obviously just maybe a little bit more heads up play with the grip kick and keeping yourself out of CC, because your DH took a lot of damage in that, but still I really don't think that was the end of the world. That was just a crazy sequence. That was a crazy sequence. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would have done that much better. That was a crazy sequence. You can see that reverse coming in, there's a bubble. It literally, I'm watching this after the fact, and it was still that hard to unpack. So imagine that in real time. That was a mess. Here comes the DH pushing back in now. There's the paints up onto the mage. Looks like, does he get dueled here? I can only see the rogue. Yep, so he just got dueled there. Just throw some damage on the rogue. Immediately get back to the mage. After paints up, that's going to be great. Just to stay on him. Make sure you keep chains on this mage here. No freedom from RMP. So you always want to keep chains on the mage. Never let him take those off. But here's a blind spike go, so it looks like it doesn't matter. And there's the chains down. Perfect. Double Nova out of that. Oh, this is going to be good. The guy's no block either. And I think he has grip. This game should be over. You guys are about to see what a spike go looks like. This is a triple spike go. Mage is not even finding his way out of it. Still hasn't blinked. As soon as he gets blinked, he can get gripped back in and changed again. This guy should, RDK should be immediately setting up to be at the exact center when you pull them in. And there it is. And that should be the end of the game. I mean, so this guy has 26 stacks. He threw block away. Temp was never going to be enough. This is looking like a kill. This is going to be fantastic. Kot's procced. They actually move away from him. And then kill the rogue, who is still in the spite as well. Right, and he threw out his cloak. Remember when I called that earlier? Whoa, they got block and then cloak for no reason. And look at that. They just punished the rogue who has cloak and didn't do anything about it. Or who didn't have cloak, and that would have done a lot about it. So what an interesting game. That was one of the harder ones to unpack. There's a lot of things to say there. You can see a lot that went right. You can see how crazy it is to spike go in against Rogue Mage Priest, since they don't have that freedom. They're getting those double spike goes on the Mage Rogue, which ended up being useful because of the other team's incompetence. Just a lot of really good stuff there. And wow. Wow. Obviously, it looked like there were going to be a few misplays in the middle for both teams. But they were able to persevere. They were finding the weak spots. They found that trinket out of the rogue. They found the no cloak. And they just destroyed them both with spites. Any one of them could have been a great target. The mage had 26 stacks. The rogue probably had 30. And that's just a guaranteed kill. Looks like when he jumped back there, it looked like probably the DH was calling out, like, this guy's dead, this guy's dead. And then they dressed him with tons of stacks, and just really, really interesting gameplay here. Just good synergy, and this is kind of one of the best Coach Flarkness videos I've ever had the pleasure of reviewing. So far, so good. Looks like quite the win streak for these guys as well. Now we're going to see probably an issue. Spell Cleave with an Ardrid. Yeah, see, I didn't think I was going to see a melee with that lock. Spell Cleave with Ardrid, Spell Cleave really at all, is pretty tough for this. If it was a mage, actually, it might even be better than an LE, because you can just use that combo right there, the Heartstop Delirium, and train down the mage and shut down everything he does. But LE's a little difficult to do that. That said, triple spite here against a Warlock with no freedom, that's a death sentence. So honestly, what you guys might be learning from this is to complement the absurd pressure that DHDK brings on goes. Figure out the spike combinations, and run those for very, very good answers to a lot of comps. Let's see how they play this. That's going to be very interesting. So, Ellie, Locke, Argerid. Okay. So they'll want to get that spike go pretty much right off the bat here. They want to put them on the back foot as soon as possible. I don't think there's any reason to pillar here. Just setting up damage for no reason. You want to kind of use that after. Now they get set up on themselves with a Coil, Bash, Infernal. And then he immediately broke the... Okay. So obviously that was not a good spike go. Yeah. So that's not good. I would have just, before pillar or anything, because you're just throwing damage that you're never going to use anyway, I would just immediately walked in there, said, get in here, fell rush in here, let's go. And just done a spike go on the lock. You don't need to grip in here, as you noticed, because you didn't. So I would just immediately blind lock and triple spike. Like, what's the point? They have no freedom, there's nothing you're looking to get, they have no Master's Call, there's nothing that you need to get out of them. Chains, blind, spike. And that would have been a really good opener. Obviously now the DH trying to get back after the double Coil Bash. Meta's in there and breaks the blind. Then we have Trinket in the Imprison, so that's unfortunate. Knocks him out. Oh, God. No AMS either. Alright, so yeah, just a very sloppy opener from the DHDK. That's what's sketchy about spell cleaves. Looks like they still keep this guy in. He's at 16 stacks right now. Surprised he hasn't walked out yet. He's just standing in it. Oh my god, they're going to win. Oh my god, okay. Let's try and unpack some of what's going on here. So obviously a very sloppy opener from the DHDK there, but rewarded as the Warlock just stood there and face tanked the fucking Spite and all of this damage. So now they're in trouble. There's the zone down. Okay, so he zones the Wool, Dark Soul, Infernal. Okay, everything's getting back to the standard gameplay here. This is looking good. So obviously Wall, Unending Resolve, comes out of the Warlock here. That makes him immune to interrupts, so there's really nothing they can do to stop this go. It's all spell damage from Ellie, Destro, and that's Infernal, Dark Soul, Wall. So here comes the zone. They're going to counter that go, and honestly, they're probably sitting here thinking, we win this. The guy trinkets and he stands in Spite anyway. Might as well just go on this guy all the time. They're going to do Spite goes on this Warlock and decimate him. This is looking really good for them. I'm surprised. So here comes the cap. They're just trying to peel. That's the end of the Dark Soul. Now they can just play aggressive, rotate kicks on the lock, and just wait for those Spites to come back up. You can see them right here. They should be staring at that CD with an eagle eye and immediately trying to get a full spike on this guy. I'm talking 30 stacks and just destroy him. He has no answer. He has no answer at all. So there's a kick on that Chaos Bolt. They're just going to rotate CDs here. They're really just waiting on those CDs, and AMS is back up, so they can do anything to live through this. They should never die here. DH went up to reverse the Polymorph. Probably a good play. Locke is just playing the juke game now. They're hitting a little bit into Thorns, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Everybody's full health. You can see they're just rotating that general Frosty K rotation. Probably going to send out AMS if he hasn't yet. No, he did use it to stay aggressive. Oh, dear. But those big Death Strikes are going to come in. This coil is very terrifying. By the way, I'm not exactly sure where the AMS went, but hopefully that wasn't a game ender. This coil is terrifying. You got a huge Death Strike to heal himself back up in response to all that damage. Obviously no more Mortal Strike on the other team, and he's going to die for a Death Strike right here. He really, really wants one. But this coil is going to prevent that. He has no trinket. He had no AMS for it. This is just a coil that he has to sit. If he dies here, I would not be surprised. So here comes one bolt, and he's completely fine. There's the lasso. Next bolt gets kicked. Okay, not completely fine, but lucky that bolt wasn't gigantic. Looks like it just was a puny bolt, and should be okay. Gets out of the lasso. Some huge damage coming in from the Ellie, it looks like, since the Warlock is kicked. But he should be able to get back there and Death Strike now. No AMS for a while, though. That's a little scary. Here comes the Death Strike. Should be able to heal himself, no problem, just by throwing those out. There's one. There's the blind. Can't Death Strike here. But here comes the triple spite on that blind. Ellie is going to try and get as much peels and pressure as he can during this window, but there's not a lot he can do. This is probably what I would want AMS for, so you can AMS both like defensively and aggressively. You can see his health dipping a little low. You want to stop that CC, so you AMS here, and then you get the stuns and you just global this Warlock, but maybe a little preemptive on that. Here come the spite goes, and he gateways. So that's a problem. How did he do that? He didn't have Trinket, right? So they just missed. Let's take a look. This isn't going to really be a Frosty K review here. But somebody on this team made a mistake. That's for sure. So they blind here. Right? There's that Frosty K blind. Again, that's what you're setting up these spites with. Spites are dropped down. And he broke it. It was actually a Frosty K problem. Right? I mean, God, how can you tell? It looks like an auto attack, doesn't it? But how can you tell? It is a nightmare to find out what just broke that blind. But that is a huge problem because he just gateways away instead of getting stunned out. So let's try and see it. Stare directly at your computer. Is it the glaive or is it... It really looks like that was broken by something. I'm going to look at one more time. It's really important, right? Yeah, it breaks prematurely for sure. It looks like an auto attack from the Frosty Cat. Just really stay out of auto attack range if you don't have stop attack. And if that's not what happened, forgive me. It is so hard to tell with this. Without details, there's no way for me to really know, I don't think. But yeah, just be really careful to stay out of auto attack range. He has no trinket, so he can never gate. He would just be dead, I think. So that's a momentum killer. Now the Warlock is up there. We grip this guy and then stun him in, but he's going to get 1-2 stacks. Imprisons in as well. All of this is just, praying for something, but obviously it could just gate 2, but he didn't even have that many stacks in the first place. So once again, now it's time to live until spites come back up. But now that he has Trinket back up, this is going to be a lot of pressure from the other team, and not a lot of pressure from the DK. This is where things get scary. They could just line forever and ever until all of their stuff comes back up, especially during Infernal Dark Soul. Right now it looks like they're switching over to the Ellie, trying to get pressure on him behind the wall. Now back over to the Lock, who is Thorns. And it's just a good time to stop pressure. You have no AMS. You'll have IBF for zone. So good time to stop pressure. And doing this huge leg sweep go is actually doing a lot of that. Here comes Shadow Fury down, and you can see Infernal back soon. Dark Soul's already back, so they're going to want to pop those in tandem. You're going to have the zone for it. They just have to really counter this next go and just try and get their trinket again. That's some big damage out on him. You can see there's a blind. Probably going to try and get the trinket here. This is a very good play from them, just trying to set that up as fast as possible. No stun yet because of DR, but it's still good to set that up as fast as possible. Now they get the Imprison on as he's running back from that knock. Z-axis maps, dude. So he's running back from that knock, but he gets the Imprison on him, which is great because it's the immune prison, right? So you can't break it, you can't do anything to it, so it's just going to give this DK all the time to get back there. And he's going to do just that. Now he should immediately apply chains out of this. Completely wasted grip, I think. Yeah. Oh, never mind because of the ring. Okay, so interesting. Another good dynamic here, right? So I was going to I would have gripped the Warlock back in to make sure that he gets the full stacks instead of the Ellie, who wasn't really going to get that many stacks in the beginning, so it doesn't really matter. But and I think that's really the correct play there. But the ring definitely bails that out because the ring gets him back in anyway. We'll see if he ends up getting full stacks or if he misses some because it knocked him there. Now the Warlock stands in and gets full stacks, and the DH is dead. Well, that's a interesting situation. Infernal comes down, bolt, dead. Yeah, can't even say that was a missed zone because it's definitely not. That was before Dark Soul, and it was really just one bolt when this DK came out of his CC. I don't even think zone would have deployed in time to stop any of that damage. I mean, a panic zone was probably a safe bet there, but it's definitely not the like obvious answer. That was right before zone. You can see that the soul rather is popped right after the DH dies. You can see that there, dead, and then popped. So yeah, that is just an unfortunate situation. It actually makes his grip on the Shaman seem more like the better play because of how much damage they were getting countered there. Putting CC on the Shaman to peel at the same time as getting them both stuck in that AoE stun to spite ends up maybe proving me wrong a little bit. Unfortunately, it did not net them the win. And that lasso set that up. I don't think there is a really good way to stop that, though. Honestly, this is not really much to critique on the DK. I think that was even a play that I didn't expect, and was probably the answer to such a high burst situation. I was very focused in on the Warlock because those spike goes can just win you the game. So this one's an interesting game. They did lose. I don't think it's really on the DK here. I don't know what button I would have pressed. I mean, a immediate panic zone may have gotten that last bit of chit damage that killed him when he came out of CC. Maybe we could take a look at that real quick. You can see, right, so he grips in, good AoE stun here, peels that go. The DH is taking a lot of damage. I think it could be right here. It's hard to commit zone because Infernal isn't even down yet. But he's in a full lasso. And he's half health. I'm not sure I would commit zone for something like that. I don't think there's any way you can justify it. I don't think there's anything the DK could have done. Then they get double Infernaled here, and the Infernal comes down, and you could zone Infernal, but you generally zone Dark Soul. Maybe just when you see this guy get hit for the first bolt, you immediately press it. Like, the only thing I could say is immediately panic press it here, but look at that. Even when I say immediately panic press it and stop it, he loses the rest of his 60,000 health or so. So that was not happening. Maybe a darkness out of the lasso. I don't remember if they have that. That's probably just a darkness out of the lasso. There's not a lot that DK could have done here. It's unfortunate because I do want something critique about this, but I'm not sure I would have done anything differently. Honestly, I do like the grip play to CC them both. That ended up being the right choice. Just unfortunate loss against the spell cleaves. Spell cleaves are disgusting. Huh, how long do they play this out for? Alright, back to the RMP. Got some ones in chat, boys. And then 69. It's a funny number, guys. Ever heard of that one? So let's see what happens here. And then boob. This guy's got jokes. He's got jokes. So, so far as a synopsis, a lot of the analysis seems to be on like spite usage and peeling during spite CDs and management of a zone and other defensives, and so far it's been really good. I would have said if there's something that I think you would have done to win that game, but why would you zone pre-Infernal, right? That doesn't ever feel like a good idea. All right, so anyway, let's dial it back a little bit. Right in the beginning of this one, they get the combat here on the priest, pull the rogue out. This is just a fantastic opener for this. They should play heavily aggressive. Honestly, just grip that mage right into this pile right here, blind all three, and triple nova. I don't know why that fell eruption's out, but no, he blinks and gets around the pillar. Not a misplay or anything. He just got out of there. And if you would have gripped right there, he probably would have blinked. So just get on the mage as soon as possible and start applying that Heartstop Delirium to him. Unfortunate that he's missing those right now. Good to get it on now, but want to start pre-activating that for each blink that he's getting down. There comes the... There's no way that's a full blind, right? Let's analyze this spike go. That's 2 seconds, dude. Alright, let's take a look at this. So they go set up the spike go again. We got the blind, the mage, and the rogue. Heartstop Delirium is on the mage. That's good for his blinks. And they're going to Nova out of that. But is it really out of that? Let's take a look. Alright. So blind comes out. So sure, this is more analysis of this comp than the spec itself and the ways that it play. But that's probably really good. Because we have a ton of those videos. And those are like all of my guides and all of my streams. This is finally some real in-depth how do you win threes games commentary. So I hope this is helping. For everybody else watching, because clearly they already know how to do it. But let's see if they do break this. So there's the blind. You can see the duration right here. And it's at 4 seconds left. So 4, 3, 2, it breaks again. Alright, so that time it was the Demon Hunter. These guys are breaking blinds. These blinds are so much of the stacks and the initial setup, because you can all get your spike down in the blind and immediately start getting ready to set up and tee off. These blinds are so important to the spike go, and it just feels really bad to be breaking them. There's the triple Nova, or the double Nova rather. Temps, imprisons the temps. So it's crazy how much power they can put into these spike goes. Let's do a quick time check real quick while we're sitting up in the chair. We got 50 minutes, guys. All right. Well, this is good content. So it's crazy how much they have the imprison, the Nova. They just have a lot of tools here. I probably disagree with the frequency at which we break these, because that is just almost every time, every single one of their CDs. No reason to be hasty. Just get out of there. They're still getting a lot of pressure from the spike go. And a double Heartstop Delirium is on him. Mage is in trouble, dude. Mage could be dead anyway. Look at that. I just ranted for 5 minutes about a broken blind. They're going to kill him anyway. Alright, now he lives. He lives for now. Alright, so right now, DH getting mind controlled. Kick not available, so it looks like they're just going to try and play defensive. Dragons Kings is bubbled here in that mind control, but thankfully they get the bubble off. Looks like they just need to tank it now and try and get another spike go. Or just try and get pressure. Mage with Heartstop Delirium is really easy to kill. Looks like a Drestigath came down. Good chains on the Rogue. You see, always being aware. Chains Rogue, now chains Mage probably. Don't let him move. Well, they don't get that one. Yeah, just tend to throw chains on the Mage at all times. But he's standing pretty still. Now he's moving. And there's those chains. So, just good answer. Rogue getting stunned behind the pillar. Frosty K will still stay Mage because you have to have the Heartstop aura on them for it to really synergize well with that Delirium. So the Heartstop Delirium is a really good combo. You want it on him at all times. So he's going to stick on this Mage. Here comes the Priest coming in for CC. Immediately sees that, chains him as well. You can see just a really good control of the team and of the map. They're in huge trouble here. There's a grip on the Priest. Gets that CC off of him. That was excessive. I thought maybe they would swap. If they got the fear, maybe they would swap to dragons. But you can see his Mistweaver is so low health. I don't think he was really going for fear. If they're gripping the damage to peel, that's pretty good. But now if the Mage blinks in, that's kind of scary. So ends up being a really good grip here, honestly. Right? Because they get a ton of pressure on it. Now the Priest is blinded. So it looks like they're doing that blind for CC to try and get pressure, though the guy is tempt, instead of for the spite. So it's kind of like back and forth. And the grip ended up being pretty good. Put the Priest in an awkward position. Didn't get to go finish the Mistweaver Monk over there. And then the blind ended up getting caught, but not a spike go. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. Honestly, it's tough. These games are going quick, and the gameplay is not easy to define as wrong or right, but it seems to be always on the edge of definitely right. So far so good. There's a good chains on the Rogue who's going to immediately cloak here, trying to stay aggressive. There's the Darkness as well, coming out for the Mistweaver Monk, who you can see is very, very low health. Here's a Fear. Gets dispelled on it. Looks like he's just trying to play as defensive as possible. getting a chill streak between the rogue and the priest while they were together. Again, an interesting call. Definitely a panic in the moment. They're trying to peel. They've got the chains down. They've got the mage still low with delirium on him. They're just trying to get counter pressure and peel. You can see this Mistweaver is kicked at very low health. I'm sure this is a panic situation. That may bounce one more time, 2, 3, 4, every single bounce. Well, the priest gave you that one, and that chunked these guys to half health. Now if you can cleave these guys together when the rogue runs away, you should be able to do great pressure off of that. And there's the AoE stun into Imprison, into the Spites. Now the priest has to run out of it. He gets changed immediately. And now the mage gets gripped back in on the blink. This is textbook. That's probably the end of the game. I think I might have learned a few things from that game. That chill streak ended up getting every bounce. Perfectly set up the priest to be in a terrible position for a double stun. He had to run himself out, had nothing for the mage, and then the mage gets fully spited and destroyed. I mean, that's a pretty solid Q session right there, boys. Maybe we do one more, and we call it. That's about another hour-long Coach Flarkness video. We might do a part 2 of these guys. They're a thrill to watch. That was honestly just a very well played game. Anytime I think I see a bit of a mistake, it ends up not being one. Drexia. This Warlock does a lot of damage. So he gets the combat, starts changing them in the open air. There's that freedom. They're still going to spite. Generally a little harder against H-Pals, but they seem to have the spite played down. And this Demon Hunter might be dead. I see a bolt flying past this guy. And a Demon Hunter at 100k health. Is that the end of the game? Yes. Right. Let's take another look. Let's take another look. Okay. So he gets the chains, gets coiled here. Cheap, kidney, 1 bolt in the coil, probably double claws, 2 bolts dead. Rep comes out. Well, I mean, again, what do you comment on the DK's part of this for? It's no Infernal, no Dark Soul. I mean, that's just Trinket meta or Trinket blur. Outside of meta, full kidney. Bolt in the air, though? Maybe you could stop that? Let's take another look. See, this is a DK comment video. There's got to be something you can do, probably. Yeah, I think there is. Yes, there is. I think he IBFs there. Yes, okay. So he IBFs that cheap, clearly panicked for that all-in setup on Dragon's Kings, but then neither bolt is stopped. Does that mean we used grip too early, or is it on GCD? Okay, yeah. So there you go. IBF grip. There's your bit of critique, right? So clearly that is definitely not all the Death Knight's fault here. I mean, there's a lot of things going off in this, and that's a good time for a Trinket blur, Trinket meta blur, but definitely those bolts did not do any favors to Dragon's Kings, this Demon Hunter, and he got hit by 2. So let's run it back real quick. Let's look at it. Now that we have that information, we slowed it down a little bit. Let's take a look. We got to go farther back. Here's the chains. He gets freedom. They double coil. Then the rogue cheaps off the coil. Great play from this rogue, honestly. And then kidneys. So they double coil to get them off the lock, get some distance so the lock can just free cast. And then they're going to cheap off the coil into the full kidney and set up all their pressure in that. Probably with claws or something. So honestly, playing right into their hand. Nobody pressed anything. They got the perfect opener that they wanted. We had IBF come out, so we committed the CD to it, but did nothing with it, right? So IBF right here. One bolt comes down, so it's a little late on the IBF, but the second bolt's in the air, but we turn around, and then that one goes off, right? So what are we turning around to do? We IBF, one bolt comes, we turn around, we look at him. So we're like, are you dead? Is that what we're giving the old looky-do there? I think if the IBF was instant, you could have stopped both bolts. But even at the timing that the IBF was at, you could stop one. Honestly, that's super nitpicky, but it's true. That was 200,000 damage, right? Let's see. 400k health. Okay. 270k health. Okay. That is nitpicky, but it's true. That is 200,000 damage. That was actually completely mitigatable. So IBF a smidge earlier, really commit to that. The only reason I'm saying this, I know it's hard to tell, but you did it anyway, so you knew he was dead. You guys must have been on comms. That was an all-in, double coil, full kidney, maybe double claw, maybe you saw it. Everybody maybe knew he was dead, but like people were trying to find out what to press. You pressed it. You pressed the IBF. You have the game-winning play. You have the golden ticket, so to speak. I think that is an insta-grip, and then maybe even blind, just something to stop that pressure. But anyway, no, maybe not commit blind, because then you would just be like, why not trinket meta? So just insta-grip and kick the next one. I think that is the answer. If we didn't have kick, the grip still stops it. And if he's still going to die, then maybe the blind is committed. It's hard to find something to critique here, and I feel like I owe you that as a suggestion since the games went really, really well. But maybe that is an answer. I mean, the game ended, so somebody had to press something. But that's an unfortunate one. So that is a 1 hour long Coach Flarkness video. That went fast. Those were pretty much astounding games. Everything was really done well. You guys got to see a lot of very, very good setups from that team. A lot of really quick kills, a lot of really good CD management. And the fact that I struggled so hard to find critique, and I'm still not even certain that I'm right about it, but it is food for thought, seeing if that grip could have been thrown out, or thinking about the zone play on the other spell cleave loss. It's food for thought. I think watching over the video for them and watching over the video all of us as viewers, one more or two more times once it's released, is going to give us some of those answers. But that was a very, very good, inspiring Coach Flarkness video for me to do. I think that was definitely worthy of a part 2. You guys might see a part 2 of this coming out soon. So I'll shut my mouth for a little bit here. That's a lot of talking, an hour and 2 minutes, and I will be back with this series full time. I hope you guys learned something. They did a lot of things really well. That might have taught you kind of how 3 setup actually works at higher MMR. We haven't had many of those, so huge props to Chillstreaks, Dragons Kings, and Jiski for letting us use this content. That was a good video, and I will see you guys all in the next one.